Well, it is 9 o'clock, and we have people signing up, coming on virtually. I'd like to welcome them also. And we have this, this is incredible. Y'all should all come up here and stand from this viewpoint that the ALK Summit has become this. And especially after yesterday, with all the craziness that was going on with flights and people being able to get here or not get here, and all the work that had been put into this, we were really concerned of who was not going to make it. We've only had one dock casualty. Unfortunately, Jessica Lynn will not be able to make it because of her flight, and we hope Jessica might be watching. We love Jess and we miss her. Sorry she can't make this, but all our others did. I came down from the reception last night, and Sharice, Dr. Gadgiel, was in the lobby, and it was just like, Sharice! And I'm sure he was going, I don't really know him that well, but but I want him, and that's, to me, that's what this is. This is family. So I want the docs to feel like a part of our family. I want all of you that are new here to feel like a part of our family, because you are a part of our family, and that's what this will be. We had 50 people at the group walk this morning. I was like a kindergartner teacher taking kids to the, okay, everybody look both ways before you cross the street. So next year I'm getting a little string for everybody. So that, it was really stressful. I can't lose somebody on Vanderbilt campus. So before we get started, we're going to have a couple things that we're going to be going through before we introduce Dr. Camage. And Nancee and I are going to give a little bit on our own personal story very quickly, kind of the status of where it was when I was diagnosed. I was diagnosed in 2013. And then a little bit about, and we're going to thank all our sponsors and all that have been a part of making this happen. I think it's important for y'all to see that, because they are as much a part of our family as all of us. And then just a little bit about what the organization is doing, what we're excited about, and what's coming up in this session. So, Nancee, I'm going to sneak by you for a second. First, I would like to read a quote from Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. That was a memorable day to me, for it made great changes in me. But it is the same with any life. Imagine one selected day struck out of it, and think how different its course would have been. Pause, you who read this, and think for a moment of the long chain of iron or gold, of thorns or flowers that would never have bound you, but for the formation of the first link on one memorable day. I share that quote, ran across that earlier this year, and I just like what it says about the things that happen in our life and where it can lead us. And probably all of us have something like that in your life. For me, it's the time I met my wife on campus at the University of Georgia, and then we just by the fact that I showed up at the right place at the right time, and how different my life could have been if that had not been the case. We've been married for 37 years, together for 41 now. But all of us in this room have that same one memorable day, and it is the day that a doctor walked into the room and told us that we had lung cancer. And so that first link has brought all of you guys here with us for this weekend and to be a part of this family. And what Nancee and I and the Summit Committee and the organization want is for you guys, all of you, to come through this weekend with more hope and knowledge and inspiration that helps you through this journey. And that's what this is all about. So I would want to give a little bit of information on today and what we have as our group, and then I'm going to pass this off to Nancee, and she's going to ask y'all to do a few things for us. And I think it's important for y'all to see what we have as a breakdown of who all is here, because those of you who've been diagnosed within the last year are going to have a very different viewpoint and journey than what those of us like Nancee and I have. Nancee is at 8 years, and I'm at 10.5 years. And I think that's going to be important. We have designed, the Summit Committee has worked really hard to design this entire summit and every presentation, so there is something for every one of you in every single session. So I want you to be plugged in, and I want you to have a chance that you'll see that there's something you will learn at each one of these. And so Nancy's got a few things to ask y'all to do first before we get to that.
Hey, am I not turned on? Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're so happy to see everybody here, and we have all kinds of things to talk about today. But first of all, let's talk about everybody here in the room and all of you all at home who are watching virtually. We took statistics when we did the registration, and you self-selected where you fell on your diagnosis, whether you're newly diagnosed or whether you're more like Kirk and myself who are at longer diagnoses. And we wanted to kind of show you who's in the room, and these are the statistics, and those of you online as well. What I'd love for you to do, and I know it's early to ask you to do something, it's not a dance or anything like that, although that would be more fun to me. Let's have everybody who was diagnosed within the last year stand up, if you don't mind. Just stand up so we can recognize you and welcome you.
And we would like to include your care partner.
Oh, yes, please have your care partner stand as well. So here we have these, everybody online. I know we can't see you, but we see you, and we know you're there, and we're so happy that you're here and that you got to come at such an early time in your diagnosis. Anyone 1 to 2 years, stand up. All right, this is a lot of people. We're glad you're here. This is a great time to join when you're newly diagnosed or kind of like settling into the new normal. 3 to 6 years. How about everybody stand up for that? This one, according to this, is the biggest, 37%. Yay, hi. So many people, congratulations. This is so exciting. 7 to 8, and I don't know if I fit here, or 8 to 10, but 7 to 8 years, if y'all want to stand up. Awesome. Thank you. That's a pretty big milestone. And 8 to 10, or 10 plus, I guess, 8 plus. Kirk's in that group. All right, that is amazing. And I'm going to have the volunteers stand up really quick. While we're in that, thank you all, and I look forward to everybody getting to talk to each other about your experiences at your different stages of this diagnosis. It changes over time, and I noticed yesterday I was talking to several people similar to my end of the spectrum, and your experiences start to meld together and be very similar, so it'll be interesting. One more thing we wanted to acknowledge while we're here is anybody who has volunteered in the past, is volunteering now, please stand up so we can recognize the volunteers. It takes a huge army of people. So I'd love if you guys would stand up, and all of you on the phone, thank you. Thank you guys. And if you're interested in volunteering, hit me up, and we will find a place for you. We have tons of work for everybody to do. All right? Oh, me. This is still me. Okay, I thank you. I'm Nancee. As you know, I'm the vice president of the board of ALK Positive. I've been the current vice president. I've been volunteering in a variety of different capacities since 2018. We were not a 501c3 then. We were a little group of people trying to make things happen. And we have a great board now that we're going to acknowledge, and many other boards, but while we're here, I'm very sentimental about those who really started this for us back in 2017 and rolled up their sleeves and made this happen. And so I just would like to acknowledge Colin Barton and Bill Westlake and Amanda Nerstead, who I think are all here somewhere. And I might cry doing this. And Christina Weber, who's in Greece and hopefully watching us. And maybe most importantly, those who aren't here with us anymore, I hope they could see this, because this is breathtaking, and I'm so happy and proud. So thank you guys. I've had this a long time to be crying up here, sorry. So I'm not going to give a big speech. I have a couple minutes to talk today. What the focus of my talk is about finding happiness in uncertainty. And I think that's, if I have a theme to having cancer and figuring out life with cancer, it's understanding how to coexist with not knowing what's coming and not having a traditional path ahead of me that I thought I had, literally from one week to the next. And I think all of us are in the same boat with that particular thing. I know we have different boats, we have different crews, we have different mental and physical capabilities, and all those things are different, but I think we all are living with uncertainty and trying to figure out how to make the best life with that. So when you first get diagnosed with cancer, the very first, well, I'm going to switch to a slide for a moment. 2016, I didn't want to forget this. I was in Nashville in May of 2016. I was here to run a half marathon. I met my sister and my niece, who are actual athletes and running a marathon. And I was trudging through a half marathon. And it was raining and hot, which is as miserable as you can imagine. But on top of that, I was coughing for 13 miles. And when we got to the end, my sister said, hey, you know, this is the third run that you have coughed the entire way through. We used to meet pretty frequently. And she's like, you need a doctor who's going to figure out, like, not give you any more allergy meds or any more antibiotics, who's going to figure out what the heck is going on with you. And, of course, neither of us expected the result, which was about 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And I just thought it was ironic that it was here in Nashville, 2018, or 16, excuse me, was the start for me. And the first year of finding out that I had cancer, the first thing I did, I lived in New York, and my husband and I were, you know, in shock. And I will say the thing I didn't know, and it's selfish of me, I didn't know how much your partner, your husband, they're facing the exact same uncertainty you are. I thought it was just, the patient is sick, so they're sick, and everyone around you hovers around you like a satellite and feels sad, but they're fine. And in reality, their lives changed, his life changed just as much as mine. His expectations for the future, his financial questions, his dealing with our children, our parents, everything changed as much as mine did. So we kind of went down a path to figure out how to live with this. And the first thing I did, many of you probably have done, is I lived in New York, I walked around the city, and I decided I had to write goodbye letters to everyone, to my children, to my parents, to Paul, to my friends, to my friends' friends, in case my husband handed one to a friend that felt left out. And I bought, I went into this store called Papyrus, and it's a beautiful store if you've never been in there, and I bought notebooks and pens and paper and $500 or something, I don't know, something insane. And I brought it back to my apartment, and I'm like, I don't really want to write these. What if I want to write something different, like in a month or in 2 months? And should I write in the journal? Well, if I write what I really feel, it'll make my family sad when they find it. So I could write something different, but that would all be lies. So I won't write in the journal either. I'll put the journal away. So 8 years later, I have all that stuff. I have not done it. I admire those of you who did do it, because I know it's a thing, but I didn't. But I still have it, and it kind of makes me feel good that it's there if I feel like I do want to do it. And you kind of go through this feeling of everything you see is exciting, and every moment has to be special, and I have to take the trip. We went to Paris, and we went to Botswana, and we did some other things. And then I kept living, and life kept going, and it's like, oh, we have to just be regular now. We have to, live. And we did some different things, like I put a giant slide in my backyard for my grandkids, and that started to feel like a bucket list for me, like just living, just saying, I'm going to spend money, I'm going to buy this ridiculous slide, I'm going to buy my grandson, who's 18 but was allowed to drink in Madrid, sangria. He claims that was his very first drink of alcohol, by the way, and I believe him. Get some puppies, they're down in the corner with my husband, go to some escape rooms, and I think what we realized over time was just, okay, this is uncertainty, and it's uncertain every 3 months, 4 months for me, where I go in to get my scans, but I'm also just living again. And my family's forgetting about it. I know the dread is there, but we're just not talking about it unless we need to. We're just living. And I know everyone is different, but that has been happiness for me. So the last thing I have kind of on this topic is the day that I came here. I love nature. I love walking. I love being outdoors. And where I live, there's lots of wildlife, tons of wildlife. And before I had cancer, I would see a hawk, a beautiful animal, and I'd think, that's great. I love it. I'll keep walking. I'll see 1 million more. I'm going to live to be 500. I'll see a lot of hawks. The first year I got cancer, I would see the hawk, and I would weep because I'll never see another hawk. And I'll never feel this moment again, and I'll have to think about it all day and how much this matters. And on Thursday, I saw this hawk, and it was beautiful. And I stopped and I talked to it, as I do. And I had a moment and was so pleased and so living in that moment. But I wasn't crying, and I wasn't thinking it's the last hawk I'm ever going to see. I just went on my walk. and got ready for my trip. And it feels to me like happiness and uncertainty for me has been, okay, this is hard, but I'm gonna treasure every moment, and I'm gonna live normally, and I'm gonna balance the balance sheet, or the bucket list, and I've seen someone on our group call it live it up list. I'm gonna balance that list with everyday things that bring me joy and bring my family joy, and for me that has worked, and so that's all I have to offer after 8 years, except my volunteer time. So I hope that it helped a little bit, and thank you all for being here. Oh, I don't have to give you that. I didn't do that.
You see why we love Nancee. Why I love Nancee. We're such a partners in this, and we're so different, and I'm sure she's ready to kill me 90% of the time, but she is also so awesome in every way. I realized that I'd skipped through one particular slide that ahead of here that I wanted to show that was what was unique about this summit this year. And one, it sold out in 5 days, as most of y'all know, that we're trying to register. We never had that. It was, our numbers were for 275, and we blew it out of the water. So we expanded it to 340 by rearranging this room so you're sitting here like you're in a classroom, and so that we could get more people in here. We doubled our KOL panel, so we'll have 2 panel discussions with the KOLs, because that's what the surveys from all of y'all said that you wanted. We doubled the patient care partner panels, so we'll have 2 of those this year, which we've never had before, which is really big. And these panels, these people that are on these panels, Brandy and Ruby and Steven and Jay, et cetera, Matt, that are part of this are just such awesome people. And so I'm so excited for y'all to be hearing from them. The blood draw for University of Michigan is here, and Sophia and her team, I don't know if Sophia's in the room or not, has just been awesome, and we yesterday had over 100 people sign up, take part in the blood draw, which was totally unexpected. So they ran out of vials this morning. We have no more vials. That's what you guys did for research. 23andMe is launching a new lung cancer study that is going to be really interesting. Ken Culver and are going to be presenting on that on Sunday. It'll give you all a little bit more about it. There's some outside. The Lovely Lab will be outside. It'll later this morning. It was coming in a little late. It was supposed to be set up yesterday, but some of the issues that we're dealing with flights as a part of it. There's a biomarker testing campaign, marketing campaign that's going on, sponsored by Genentech. So several of y'all have been filmed for that, so you'll see film crews all around. That's something they came to us for. Breakthrough cancer presentation. This time last year at Philadelphia, there were about 3 people in this room that even knew what breakthrough cancer was. And they were working on I see Emily Venanzi over here and Mark Muscovich here. They were working behind the scenes to make that happen. So we didn't even have that on our radar. Most of us didn't. And then focus groups. We had 3 pharma want to do focus groups while they were here because they love y'all so much. And so Takeda and Pfizer were this morning. Genentech will be tomorrow. So if you're able to take part, please take part. But that's what this has become, which is just shocking to us of where it's grown. So sorry, I had to come back to that because I think all that's important for you guys to see. I'm Kirk Smith. I live in Athens, Georgia, home of the University of Georgia Bulldogs, for those of you that are into college football. I was diagnosed in December of 2013. This is my lovely wife that I mentioned. This was last year at Philly at the statue. That's Jane. And this is the more important part of the family that everybody loves. This is Max. And exactly, everybody does that. Yeah. Max was the inspiration for the therapy dogs last night. And what's funny to me about this is that it used to be early on, I'm 10 and a half years in, after scans and et cetera, my mom would call and see how I was doing after the scans. My mom calls now and asks how Max is doing. So my hope for you guys is that you live long enough and healthy enough that your mom calls to check on the dog rather than you. This is my oncologist. This is Cynthia Shepard. I'm in Athens. It's a community cancer center, but Cynthia is amazing. She was a fellow with Dr. Lovely, and I have to put her up here all the time. 10 and a half years with somebody, we've become really that kind of relationship is what I hope all of you have with your dog. I absolutely love Cynthia. We love Cynthia. Jane and I love Cynthia. I wanted to show second opinion doc, because this is Cynthia. One of the first things she did is said, yes, you should go get a second opinion, because she was confident enough in her ability to know that we need to have other people looking at this that are specialists. And she sent me to Dr. Ramalingam at Emory Winship Cancer Center. This was just a few months ago. We ran into each other, and he still remembered me from 10 years prior. And he was just like a master class in how a second opinion doc should deal with a patient. Just the most wonderful person. And I've had brain progression 5 times. So I put that up there not because this picture's scary and I want to make impact. It's more of I want you guys who have not had that, who have not experienced it yet, know that it's a possibility to know that you can have it, and then you can still be okay. Because I think this technology is phenomenal, and I am able to get this kind of radiation, and then I'm able to get on a mountain bike the next day and go for a ride, and that's part of it. I've also my healthcare team is so good and so connected that this kind of thing I think is one of the most important things for y'all. 1%. I'm gonna say something I'm telling all of y'all in front of us, and my wife's here and she does not know this story. So I've been lying to her for the last 10 and a half years, is that, when you first diagnose, they tell you whatever you do, don't go look on Google, because all they told me is that I had non-small cell lung cancer. And I've told her for the last 10 and a half years that I didn't go look on Google and see that, but I did. And and I didn't know, of course I did not know I had ALK. All I knew is I had non-small cell lung cancer, and this was the 5-year survival rate. And I remember taking a screenshot of that, and I still have it. But what was interesting is my reaction. I can look back to that. My reaction is, it made me recall there's a scene in the movie Dumb and Dumber. And yeah, I know what y'all, I know. I started this with quoting Dickens, and now I'm going to Dumb and Dumber. Yeah, Jane's like, yeah, this is more his style. Well, there was a scene in Dumb and Dumber where the Jim Carrey character is talking to the girl that he's, his love, that he's wanting to be able to date, and he says, what are my chances? And she says, they're not good, maybe 1 in a million. And his reaction, he pauses for a minute or two, and he goes, so you're telling me I have a chance? So that was what this was for me. It's like, okay, I got a chance. Also know that data doesn't really mean a lot to me at that time. You'll hear a lot about data this whole time, but for me, getting too deeply into statistics is like trying to quench a thirst with salty water. It wasn't going to help me at all. I love this quote. I love this book. If you haven't read the book, please do if you're in the right frame of mind. It's a very beautiful book. So what I did instead is the next week, I wrote down my 2014 goals. It was January 1. This is what I do every year. I'm a goal guy. And I wrote number 1, no cancer. And then for every year, that's what I put up on my bathroom mirror. And matter of fact, I don't even have 2024 here because I didn't have enough room to put it up. And so what I want to kind of step back for you guys to see is what was the landscape at that time when I was diagnosed in 2013, and this was it. It was crizotinib and chemotherapy. I didn't know any better. I'm just a guy my doc gives me pills, and I remember asking her, so how long am I going to have to take these? Like it's an aspirin or something. Yeah, your cancer will go away in a week or two. And so Xalkori was great for me, but what did not exist, and I think this is so important for all of you in the room to see. A lot of you may know this, but a lot of you may not. Ceritinib did not exist. It didn't come out until 2014. Brigatinib did not exist. Alectinib did not exist. Lorlatinib did not exist. You can see the dates there. Nuvalent 655. I was talking to Jim and Henry and Chris last night at the reception. Nuvalent wasn't even a company until 2017, and then found out about us through Alice Shaw. Gilteritinib, approved for leukemia in 2018, and I think I'm correct in this story, and Angel, don't yell at me from the side over here, but Angel found out about this because Jeff Sturm, who I think is probably watching online, sent her an email about a study that had been done in Japan, if I'm correct, and that's how she started doing the gilteritinib trial, from an ALK patient. And Ensartinib, pending FDA approval. ALK, IHC, and NGS were not approved, only fish. Breakthrough cancer, as I mentioned, we didn't even know it existed last year. The Judith Tam ALK Lung Cancer Research Initiative that we've been a part of here did not exist. And it started because Judith is a outpatient and they made a donation to Michigan to get this started. The Crown trial, the Alex trial, the Lena trial, Alta, Ascend, Horizon, Exalt 3 trial, young lung cancer study, alectinib combined with cobimetinib trial, Shaw trial, Lamb vaccine trial, Chiari-Awad vaccine trial, Bouchard vaccine trial. None of those existed. ALK Positive organizations started in 2017. There were no ALK summits like this. There were no ALK talks. There were no healing arts program. There was no second opinion program. And we weren't funding grants because we didn't exist. And all of this happened since 2013. So think about if I had taken that 1%, read that 1% data, and just let that dictate my life, a life in fear for the next 10 and a half years, not knowing what was coming. And I can promise you there's even more of this happening right now while we're in this room, all the things that Ken and the medical committee will talk a lot about. So there's so much hope that's coming down the line, and I want y'all to understand that so that you see the possibilities of what's coming. So we'd like to, now I'm gonna hand it over to Nancee so she can thank our sponsors.
Thank you. Kirk is we are so fortunate. He's been an amazing leader for us since he's been president for the last 2 years now, almost 2 years. So thank you and awesome. I hate to go after him speaking, so it is how that goes. So we have all of our sponsors here. You can see all their logos, and that's awesome, but it doesn't go to the real story, which is every industry partner and every person who works with us at those industry partners is a part of this family with us. This event exists solely because of the money that they grant to us to be able to do this summit, and of course the hard work of many volunteers. But Kirk and I in particular, and Summer and Yvonne, we meet with them very regularly, and they're just like a part of our family as much as you all are to us. And we want to take a moment to thank them a little bit more than just putting a logo on a sign. I'm not going to read the names, but I'm going to go ahead and click through so we can kind of get the picture of these are the folks that we work with at each one of these organizations, and all of these people help us. Many of these people are here with us, so if you get the chance to meet with them while you're here, we all have name tags, so you should be able to figure out who's who. They'll be here all weekend. Thank you to Pfizer, Takeda, the whole group from Takeda. Hopefully y'all, some of you went to the breakfast this morning for both Pfizer and Takeda. They had some focus groups. I think I'm forwarding. Genentech. Genentech has the amazing photo booth out there, so please take advantage. I saw people yesterday with their cowboy hats and getting their photos done, so please do. They're doing some amazing work with us, and they have a breakfast tomorrow for up to 20 people, both care partners or patients, and you can be on any medication. So if anybody has interest in doing that, let us know, and we'll help you find your way there. Thank you to Genentech. Nuvalent. Oh my gosh, Nuvalent is newer and an incredible partner. They've had many of our folks, including Summer and Kirk and Amanda, come out and talk to their teams to really show them the impact that their teams are having on our people. And we have so many people in the trials right now. I know Jeff Sturm is one of them and has had great success so far. Guardant, obviously, I don't think is someone here from Guardant?
No. Sorry.
Are you here? Oh, good. I'm sorry. Welcome. Okay. Thanks. Sorry, guys. And Roche is a new donor this year. Daiichi Sankyo could not be here, but thank you to them. Foundation Medicine, Brian Tomlinson has been an amazing partner to us. All About Events, Sarah and her team checked you all in, did all the bags, all the stuff. Please thank you. We're like a grown-up world now where we have event planners, so amazing. Catch It in Time, Keith and Travis and his organization follows lung cancer people all over the place and does amazing work with videography. They've been our partners for years now, so thanks to Keith and Catch It in Time, and to the Encore folks here at the hotel. Sorry, I'm going fast because we are out of time. Summit Committee, everybody stand up if you're here, just really quick. This is the group that put this on. Thank you. Here's our board. Most everybody's here. Please take the opportunity to introduce yourself. Everybody on this team works tirelessly to make all this stuff happen and hopefully to change our futures. Oh, sorry, I keep handing you that over and over.
Yeah, I'm gonna move forward because we got a minute really before we introduce Ross, so I'm gonna skip through a number of things here. And I want to go finish with this. And this is, this being in Nashville, this seemed like a good quote to put up here. I don't know if any of y'all know Jelly Roll or not, but he won the Newcomer of the Year award at the CMAs this past spring here in Nashville. And I love this quote. It's not, I looked this up, it's not a country music song. I cannot believe it's not a country music song. It should be a country music song. The windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror for a reason. And we've gone through the history, the things that have come through in the past. But what this summit, in a lot of ways, is about is going to be what's coming. And that's what I'm so excited for you guys to learn about. And the only thing probably my instruction to you guys is turn off your phone and be present during the sessions. And so, and then I'm going to hand this off to Nancee.
You'll see why we're laughing in a moment, but I'm introducing. Are you going to do this?
No,
Talk
I'm not.
about, okay. I just wanted to get to the meat of our program here. I am honored and privileged to get to introduce my very own oncologist as our keynote speaker. I want to explain this is the only existing picture of Ross Camage and myself. He's been my doctor for 7 years, and when we started to do this, and I've had cancer for 8, but Kirk's like, I'm going to put a picture of me and Cynthia in there. You should put one of you and Ross. And I'm like, I should, but I don't know how we did this. I see him at advocacy events. He's my friend. I don't know, but I will tell you, it is very hard to find headless bodies with cute outfits. But this is what we have, and this is my picture to introduce our keynote speaker. We all know about who Dr. Camage is and how much he's meant to our organization and the ALK community and the lung cancer community at large. So I can't offer any more except my gratitude at being his patient and that he was willing to come here and speak to us. And I've had a few people see this and feel like we do need a real picture maybe sometime this weekend, so we'll do that. So welcome, Dr. Camage. Thank you.